It's time to talk about the important issues for the natural state. And there's only one place to turn for that. Opportunity Arkansas's Nic Horton. You can find Nic's work at opportunityarkansas.org.
Hey, good Wednesday morning to you. Welcome back to First News here on the 20th of August. And yes, we gave him a little summer break from us here at KRN, but that is officially over today as the CEO and founder of Opportunity Arkansas, Nic Horton, makes his return to the show. And Nic, welcome back. How have you been, man?
Let's go. I am so glad to be back. I missed you, Toby. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying that, but I guess if I'm away long enough.
If I had a nickel for everyone who said that to me, I'll tell you. But
you'd have two nickels.
Yeah, that'd be very nice. But always happy to get you back on the KRN airwaves, and want to dig right into it. Well, okay, I'll ask you first. Did you have a good summer? Has everything gone well?
I had an amazing summer. I took, as some folks probably know, I took most of the month of July off just to focus on family and recharging and refreshing. We have our 3-year anniversary, Toby, which is crazy to believe, but 3 years next week.
Yeah,
will be
congratulations.
The of Opportunity Arkansas. Thank you. And so it's been a slog building this thing from the ground up. Certainly have not done it by myself. So many people who've pitched in and volunteered and contributed and agreed to serve on our board and volunteer at events. But I've been spearheading a lot of that. And after 3 years, it was time for a sabbatical, and it was time to just unplug and recharge. And boy, I feel it. We did anything and everything the kids wanted. That's what I've been telling people. We went to Magic Springs a couple times. We went to the pool. We went to the movies. We watched a lot of classic Disney movies that I hadn't watched since I was a kid. I'm not a huge fan of Disney anymore, but I like the old stuff. And it was great. It was really, really great. So really grateful for that time and ready to get back at it.
All right. Well, enough of the pitter-patter then. Let's get right to the business. And so here's where I wanted to start today is digging into some of these LEARNS Act numbers. And we have some reports that came out recently that say that if every family that has applied for an Education Freedom account is approved, that the fund will go some $18.5 million over the budget. So my question is, what does that mean? Does that mean that that's a lot of success, that the people of Arkansas love this program, or does it mean that this is a big problem, that all the money isn't there right now to fund everything?
Well, let me just say this, because I think it'd be really easy to gloss over this as a state and just as a cause. This is a huge moment. This is a moment in the state of Arkansas's history where I think in the history books we're going to look back and we're going to see this bright line in time where we became a state that truly believes in universal education freedom. We believe in parents being in charge, that these are individualized decisions that every single parent should get to make and decide for them and their family and their kids. And that's a reality now. It's been a long time coming. January 2023, February 2023, really around that time when the LEARNS Act first kind of popped up and became law. But you know, Toby, and your listeners know, it's been a slow phase in over kind of the last 2.5, 3 years, and we are finally here as of this school year. Every child in the state of Arkansas, regardless of income, regardless of zip code, regardless of background or ethnicity or whatever, every child has the same opportunity to access those funds and use a portion of their family's tax dollars how they want to educate their children and their families in the way that they see best. It's life-changing. I was literally just having breakfast with a friend here in Conway, and unsolicited, he said, man, we got one of our kids. He really struggled in the public school system, and we've actually had to pull him out, and he's homeschooling. But then we found out about the EFA program, and it has been life-changing for our family that we can buy textbooks, and he's getting piano lessons, and he's getting a lot of these amenities and services and curriculum and things that he would have been getting from the public school system. And by the way, to your point about the budget, I'll get to that. But this is a steal for taxpayers. I mean, the media and everyone else wants to talk about how expensive it is and it's so over budget and all of this nonsense. It's almost half of the cost. It's a little bit actually less than half of the cost, the per pupil cost per student in the EFA program, as what taxpayers in the state of Arkansas spend on public school enrollment. So this is a bargain for taxpayers, and at the end of the day, it's good for families and it's good for parents. Now, your question about budget, look, we made a commitment, and it's taken us 30 years to get here. This trek, this fight, this journey to get to universal education freedom. And 3 years ago, we made a commitment that we're going to make sure that this program is fully funded and it's available for every child and every kid in the state of Arkansas that needs it. Governor Sanders recently reaffirmed that commitment publicly, which was very welcome news and a much needed signal that, like, this is what we're doing. We've put a stake in the ground and said that we're going to do this. So maybe the enrollment's high. Maybe it's higher than expected, although I'm not sure there were ever actually any projections reported for what it's worth or published. But to me, and to many families across the state that are seeing this program literally change the trajectory of their kids' lives, it's worth every single penny. And the demand, we're now over 51,000 applications, which is more than 10%.
Yeah,
more than 10% of the public school enrollment in the state of Arkansas is now in the EFA program. There's a massive demand, and people want it. And state leaders, we got to make sure, and we're going to do everything in our power at Opportunity Arkansas to make sure that they get it.
So how is there a plan that's at least out to the public at this point of how you cover the $18.5 million that it's above budget, which, that, like you said, this is a good thing. It means a lot of people are participating. But, I mean, obviously we have a surplus of tax dollars here in our state. Do you just take a little bit of that to cover this $18.5 million?
Yeah, I think that's an option. Certainly, you mentioned. I mean, we've got a $350 million surplus, and apparently, as of right now, we're hoping that this changes. But as of right now, there's not any sort of income tax reduction in the immediate future. It looks like, or we're hearing, at least being told, that there's not going to be a special session right now to reduce income tax cuts anymore. And even so, even that aside, there's a $350 million surplus from last fiscal year. Mm-hmm. We're also starting to see, now that we're in the new fiscal year, July being the first month, revenue was up again, something like $25 million over last year's revenue, and higher than projected. And so the money is there. And again, this is a commitment. This is a commitment that we've made to families to say it's universal. We're going to fund it. We're going to make sure that every child that needs it gets it. And so how we get there, where they take the money from, that's going to be, I'm sure, a decision that is made by someone that gets paid more than me. And there's not a lot of, to answer your question, there's not a lot of public chatter about that at the moment.
Sure.
But there's plenty of money, and the governor has sent a very clear message, which we support, and we're sending as well, that every child in Arkansas is going to get the help that they need. And every family is going to have the money that they need to be a part of this program.
This is going to be a little bit of a loaded question, but I've been talking to superintendents over the last few days just about the start of the school year, talk about the cell phone ban, things like that. And a couple of them have mentioned about how they're talking with their school districts about, hey, we've got to come up with marketing plans because we've got to show people what we're doing at the public schools, because now they're in competition, with the private schools, with the charter schools, because in homeschool, because that's now more attainable with these EFA accounts and with the LEARNS Act. What do you think this looks like, Nick, for public schools? And obviously we're getting rid of the federal education department. It's going to be really a state situation moving forward. What does public school look like in your mind, 10 years from now? Is it that there's just are they going to have to size down because there's not as many kids going? What does that kind of look like for the public school situation from what you've thought about?
Well, I think it's a great question, and it's a conversation that I was having with someone just yesterday. It's exactly what I think you said, Toby, and it's that public schools are going to have to get better. Public schools are going to have to compete and rise to the challenge to meet the expectations of parents and to meet the needs and the expectations of students, and to make sure that students are ready for the workforce and ready to contribute to society. Toby, because we talk about this all the time, we've got a massive problem with government dependency, generational government dependency in the state of Arkansas. We've got massive problems with crime. We've got massive problems with homelessness and addiction. All of these things, a lot of them go back to the root cause of a poor education. And I think there's pretty much universal agreement about that, really, on both sides of the aisle and in the middle, that is the root cause of a lot of these problems. Mm-hmm. And so public schools are going to have to get better. We're going to have some ideas for how to accelerate that and make sure that public schools are more accountable and have some of the tools that they need to deliver that. But ultimately, look, I truly believe, and I've said this from the beginning, I've been saying this for 10 years, at the end of the day, universal education freedom. And we've done that not just with the EFA program, by the way, but now also with the public schools, where kids can choose any public school. Parents can choose any public school that they want to go to. They can go to a charter school, they can go to a micro school,
Right.
They can go to homeschool. All of those options, we are actually finally just now. So it's going to take some time because we're just now universal, but we are at a point where we have an actual market. We have an actual marketplace in education where parents can choose and they can vote with their feet, and that is going to force all of those schools. It's going to force private schools to get better, even better. It's going to force micro schools and homeschools and charter schools and all of these other options to compete and to make sure that they're delivering for their customers, so to speak. And so I truly believe, I've always believed, that is the ultimate ticket, the ultimate trick, if you will, to solving a lot of these educational problems. Exactly what you said, that mindset from the superintendents that you're hearing, that, hey, we got to get better, because if we don't, we're going to lose students and we're going to lose families, and we don't want that to happen. Well, they never had to think about that before, and now they do, and that's a really, really good thing for all students.
I used to have a hockey coach that said all the time to us, competition breeds excellence, and I'm a big believer in that, and I think this is kind of that type of a situation where everyone can get better by going up against each other, being accountable to each other is kind of what it comes down to. Nick, one other thing here on the way out, I heard a rumor going around the streets the other day that there's an issue of non-debatable that may be coming out sooner than later. Can you confirm or deny that?
I can't confirm, although I can't tell you the exact timing.
Sure.
Sometime this week, if folks listening are not subscribers currently to our award-winning, I should say,
That's right,
insider newsletter, Non-Debatable, they can go to our website, or they can go to non-debatable.com. That's non-debatable.com and sign up. There's some stuff happening with EFAs and welfare policy and some other things, some chatter happening around the Capitol. We're going to be sending out an update on some of all of that soon. And we've also got, Toby, I'll just tease this, we've got some new polling. We've got some new education polling, actually. Okay. We've got some new income tax polling. We've got some really interesting stuff that I think people are going to want to see, and it's going to shake up some of these conversations over the next few weeks. So,
well, looking forward
if folks are not already on our email list, opportunityarkansas.org, you can sign up right there at the bottom of the homepage, and you won't miss a thing.
Well, Nick, it's always a pleasure to have you on our airwaves, and glad that you got some time this summer to hang out with the family, but glad you're back on the air with us, and looking forward to talking with you again next Wednesday at 7:40. We'll do it every Wednesday at 7:40 until Nick says uncle. So, but Nick, we appreciate you coming on the show this morning.
Hey, I appreciate you as always. Thanks so much for having us.